there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we're back with another episode of Way of the Underhive. This series is dedicated to helping brand new players to Necromunda build their starting rosters and learn more about the game mechanics of their favorite gangs. And on today's episode, I'm doing things a little bit differently. Usually when I make one of these videos, I talk about a gang and how they fit within the Aranthian succession. I talk about positives, negatives, and alliances and broods and hangarounds and so on and so forth. But this time around, though, this video is a little bit different, and the reason why is because the third installment of the Aranthian succession supplements, Ruins of Jardlan, has basically dropped. And because of that, that book contains new fighters, new vehicles, as well as new things that could actually impact these two gangs. Those gangs being the Ironhead squad Prospectors, as well as the Palanite Enforcers. When I originally made my roster list for both those gangs, this was before the new Aranthian succession book dropped. So because there is a significant difference now for these two gangs in terms of vehicles and crews and etc., it just made sense to actually create an update video specifically for those two gangs. Now, because of that, this video will be a little bit different. I'm just only going to talk about the new updated rosters as well as how you would play them on the tabletop with tabletop tactics. And then I'll also talk about how these gangs should develop as your game progresses through the campaign of the Aranthian succession as well. And because this video is a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps down in the description box down below, so that way you can click and navigate to the part of the video that pertains to you the most. So that being said, let's go and talk about our new updated rosters for both the Ironhead squad Prospectors as well as the Palanite Enforcers. Alright, so up first we're going to talk about the Palanite Enforcers, and this is the newly updated 2,400 credit list with the new update information. First of all, you're going to have a Palanite Captain. It's going to cost you 220 credits. This fighter's got an armor undersuit with flak armor for that 5 of armor save, a stub gun with dum-dum rounds for good close combat weapons and a back weapon. They have a sniper rifle with an infrared sight for long range shooting, as well as manacles, as well as a teamwork ability for larger group activations. After that, you got 2 Palanite Sergeants, number 1 and 2. They both cost exactly the same at 135 credits. Both have armor undersuits with flak armor for that 5 up armor save. Stub guns with dum-dum rounds for backup weapons, as well as concussion carbines, so that way you can put those 3-inch blast template weapons. They also come with manacles as well as a teamwork as well, so that way they get the additional activation for their group activations. After that, you have a Subjugator Sergeant. That guy's going to cost 205 credits. He's got an armor undersuit as well as layered flak armor. He's packing a stub gun with dum-dum rounds, as well as a Vigilance pattern assault shield, as well as a Subjugator pattern grenade launcher with frag and stun grenades. This guy's also got manacles as well as the teamwork skill for large group activations. After that, you're going to have 2 patrol, you got actually 4 Palanite Patrolmen. Palanite Patrolman number 1 and 2 both cost 120 credits apiece. Both have armor undersuits and flak armor with stub guns as well as manacles, and they'll be equipped with Enforcer bolt guns. Palanite Patrolman number 3 and 4 will be equipped exactly the same at 135 credits apiece with armor undersuit, flak armor, stub guns with dum-dum rounds, as well as manacles, as well as Enforcer shotguns. And then you'll have 2 Subjugator Patrolmen number 1 and 2. Subjugator Patrolman number 1 is going to cost 150 credits. This fighter's got an armor undersuit with layered flak armor as well as a stub gun. They also got manacles as well as a heavy concussion ram for longer range shooting. And then you have a Subjugator Patrolman number 2 with 170 credits. This fighter's got armor undersuit with layered flak armor as well as a stub gun with manacles, as well as an SLHG assault hammer with auxiliary grenade launcher loaded with both smoke choke gas grenades as well as frag grenades. And here's where the update comes in. We now have the Palanite Rangers, which are basically vehicle operators. These are vehicle crew members. Palanite Ranger number 1's going to cost you 435 credits. This person's equipped with photo goggles. There's also a specialist, and they'll also be driving a custom heavy vehicle with a transport bed, all-wheel steering, tire claws, nitro burners, boarding ramps, as well as a heavy stubber. And then Palanite Ranger number 2 is going to cost 390 credits. This fighter's also got photo goggles and is also a specialist, and they're driving the new Enforcer Tauros Venator, which is equipped with reinforced armor, so that way it has additional toughness all the way around its armor, weapon stash as so that you can get easier reloads, tire claws for better handling, as well as a twin-linked concussion cannon, so that you're launching 3-inch blast template attacks against your enemies as well. And then finally, you have a hanger-on, which could be a Rogue Doc for 50 credits. That fighter's got a last pistol Medicaid kit as well as the Medicaid skill for obvious reasons. Now, you're also going to have an alliance with this gang as well. You're going to take the Noble House alliance with the Imperial House. The benefits from this is that you'll automatically come with a strong alliance because you're a Palanite Enforcer gang. And you also have the Imperial appointment benefit, which means that you may gather income from the same territory twice, which is going to be good for raising more income for your gang. You also have access to the Enforcer bodyguards. Now, the drawback for this alliance, of course, is that you have to pay the Imperial tax, which means you must pay D3 times 10 credits at the end of each battle, or have to test the alliance as well. Now, with the Helmwar Palanite bodyguards, you get 2 of them. They're called Palanite Companions, Palanite Companion number 1 and 2. They're both equipped exactly the same with armor undersuit, layered flak armor, disintegration guns, as well as the stub guns, manacles. They also have the Overwatch skill as well as the Fearsome skill. and this will be your 2,400 point starting roster for your gang. So now that we're going to talk about your rosters, let's talk about how you'll be playing these guys on the tabletop. You're actually going to have 2 support fire teams and 3 assault fire teams. Support fire team number 1 consists of your Palanite captain, your subjugator sergeant, as well as subjugator patrolman number 1 and 2. Your support fire team number 2 will consist of Palanite ranger number 1 with a custom heavy vehicle with Palanite companion number 1 and Palanite companion number 2. Your 3 assault teams will consist of assault team number 1, which consists of your Palanite sergeant number 1, Palanite patrolman number 1, and Palanite patrolman number 3. So that way you have concussion carbine, a force of bolt gun, as well as a forcer shotgun for that team. And it's going to be the mirror image for assault fire team number 2 with Palanite sergeant number 2, Palanite patrolman number 2, and Palanite patrolman number 4. And then finally, your 3rd assault fire team will be your Palanite ranger number 2, and that's the guy who's in the Tauros Venator, running around shooting that double-linked concussion cannon. Now, this entire gang is going to be mounted upon the custom heavy vehicle, piloted by Palanite ranger number 1, and as you close the distance with the enemy, support fire team number 1, assault fire team number 1, as well as 2 will dismount from the vehicle and advance upon the enemy. Now, support fire team number 1 and support fire team number 2 will continue their advance towards the enemy, laying down suppressive fire with heavy stubber fire, grenade launchers, sniper rifles, as well as disintegration guns at your enemy's main body, suppressing your enemies. Meanwhile, assault fire teams number 1 and 2, which will equip exactly the same, will flank either side of the enemy main body, catching the enemy in a 3-way pincer attack and also having intersecting fields of fire, so that way you have a crossfire going through and slicing up anybody who manages to not be killed. Meanwhile, assault fire number 3, which is your Palanite ranger number 2, who's piling your Tauros Venator, flanks either side, whatever one is actually easiest for you to actually get to, laying down suppressive fire with his twin-linked concussion cannons, disrupting the enemy as well. And then, of course, once you've caused enough casualties, all the fire teams then swarm forward and finish off your enemies and survivors with close combat attacks. And that's how you go about using this gang on the tabletop. Now, as the campaign develops, of course, purchase photo goggles as respirators for your entire game to make them more survivable. The photo goggles are going to help you out with all environmental effects, that way they can shoot their weapons within medium to close range with that those visibility rules. At the same time, the respirators will also keep them alive a little bit longer in case your enemy decides to use toxin or gas weapons against them as well. And then from there, I then follow up with dum-dum rounds for all the stub guns in your gang, so that way you have reliable strength for shooting attacks in close to medium range, as well as having those in close combat attacks. Now finally, I would round out your gang with more close combat weapons such as shock batons, and if you have enough credits afterwards, maybe recruit some exotic beasts like some cyber mastiffs or sanctuary automata. Those could be really good for actually doing some close combat, since this gang is mainly a heavy shooting gang. And those are the recommendations I would make for your Palanite Forcers with the new updates from the Ruins of Jardlan book that has just dropped. So now let's move on to your updated Ironhead Squad Prospector starting roster for Necromunda Aranthian Session. This is also at 2,400 points. Now this one's going to have a Charter Master with 345 credits. This guy's got mesh armor as well as a power hammer, an Ironhead stub gun with dum-dum rounds, an Ironhead arc welder for power pack weapon, as well as a respirator, a grab chute in case they fail their initiative test, as well as Iron Will, so you have -1 against bottle tests. Then you have Drill Master number 1 and 2. They're both equipped exactly the same at 230 credits apiece. Both will have mesh armor as well as power axes. They'll have Ironhead stub guns with dum-dum rounds, circular rock saws for additional close combat attacks, grab chutes just in case they fail their initiative tests, as well as a respirator to make it a little more survivable against gas attacks. And you also give them the chemical bonds never break, so that whatever chems you give these guys, they can actually use it twice before they actually run out per battle. After that, you have Drill Kit number 1 is going to cost you 250 credits. This guy's got mesh armor as well as an Ironhead Melt-A-Gun. He's also packing an Ironhead Stub Gun with dum-dum rounds as well as a respirator, and this will be your gang specialist. Drill Kit number 2 and 3 will be equipped exactly the same at 225 credits. These guys have mesh armor as well as Ironhead Bolt Guns for that good heavy firepower from those bolt guns. They also have Ironhead Stub Guns with dum-dum rounds as well as respirators for those gas and toxic attacks, as well as photo goggles so that way they can shoot you in all conditions, ability conditions. And then after that, you got 2 diggers number 1 and 2. They both cost exactly the same at 120 credits apiece. Both will have mesh armor, both will have Ironhead stub guns, dum-dum rounds, as well as power picks, and they will also have respirators to deal with gas attacks as well as toxin attacks. And then your gang will have a gearhead to cost you 595 credits. This fighter's got photo goggles so that way they can see in all visibility conditions. And they're also driving the new Scalvian Explorator with a weapon stash, so that way you can reel up your reloads for your Ironhead Squad Prospectors have bolt guns. reinforced armor for higher toughness, all-wheel steering as for better handling, plasma coil engines that we have a +2 to 2 inches to your movement, an Ironhead heavy stubber for long-range shooting, as well as an Ironhead container, so that way you can get more chems much easier by actually reducing the value by half. And then of course you have a rogue dog for 50 credits with the last pistol Medicaid kit and Medicaid, because that just absolutely makes sense. Now you won't make an alliance with this gang. There's going to be an alliance going to be with the Iron Guild, and the reason why is because of the guns benefit, which means that guns now cost D3 minus times 10 credits less for the price of the weapon, which would be good to get for like things like heavy and special weapons for the Ironhead squad prospectors, or close combat weapons for your gang as well. Plus you have -2 on all rarity for all weapon types, which is just awesome as well. At the same time, you'll have access to Wandering Scum, which means you'll be able to recruit D3 +2 Hive Scum at the beginning of each battle for free. But if you are playing the Looter, Smash and Grab, Caravan Heist, or the Escort Mission, and you are the Defender, you must take the Wandering Scum, so keep that in mind. Now there are a few drawbacks. First of all, you have the Guard Duty drawback. You must roll D6 before the beginning of each battle, and on a roll of 1 or 3, you must either play the Looters, Smash and Grab, Caravan Heist, or the Escort Mission, and you must be the Defender. And you also have the Malicious Surplus drawbacks, which means that any weapons or war gear of a dead fighter in your gang must be given up to the Iron Guild, or you must test the alliance to do so. Now for your 5 Wandering Hive Scum, they're all going to be equipped exactly the same, because you're going to at least have at least 3 of these guys show up. So to help you out with the close combat nature of your gang, you're going to use these guys for shooting. All these guys will be armed with last guns, stub guns for backup weapons, with chain swords for close combat, as well as smoke grenades to cover your fighters as the battlefield continues. And that's how all 5 of your Wandering Hive Scum will be equipped. And that makes up your updated 2,400 point list for your Ironhead squad prospectors, with the new information from the Ruins of Jardlan. Now let's talk about the tabletop tactics on this one. You have 2 support fire teams as well as 3 assault fire teams. Support fire team number 1 consists of your gearhead as well as drill kit number 2 and 3. Support fire team number 2 will consist of your D3 +2 Wandering Hive Scum. Your assault fire team number 1 consists of your charter master as well as drill kit number 1, which is the guy who's armed with the multi-gun. And then your assault fire team number 2 will consist of drill master number 1 as well as digger number 1, as well as assault fire team number 3 with drill master number 2 and digger number 2. Now the entire gang starts mounted on the Scalving Explorator, rumbling towards your enemy's main body. Now fire support number 1 as well as fire support number 2 stay with the vehicle, and they live suppressive fire with your heavy stubber, with bolters, as well as last gun, as well as smoke grenade fire. Now the smoke grenade should be used to cover the advance of your assault fire teams. At the same time, if you roll ammo rolls for your 2 drill kit armed with bolt guns, don't forget you do have a weapon stash so they can automatically reload their guns as well. Now your assault fire team number 1 head towards the enemy, which is your charter master with your drill kit with the melted gun, while assault fire teams number 2 and 3 flank the enemies on either side. That way you catch your opponents in a pincer attack, you close in and finish your enemy in close combat. Now the reason why this gang is so close combat oriented is because you're going to be relying upon chems in order to help out your gang, and we'll talk about that in the campaign development section. So as soon as you're able to purchase a chem called Spur. Now what Spur does is it adds +2 to your movement as well as your initiative, which will help you making your attacks to your enemies in close combat. It'll make you faster on the tabletop and also help you pass initiative tests if you need to do boarding actions to your enemy. You do have grab shoots for some of your more important fires, that way they can survive if they fail their their initiative tests, so you really don't have to worry about that too much as well. With a lot of the things I'm seeing with the skills as well as the availability for chems with this gang, it looks like you want to be very chem heavy with this gang as well. Now, your drill masters will benefit from this the most because they do have that grab shoot, so keep that in mind. Now, the next thing you want to do, of course, is to recruit a chem dealer as soon as possible. You can find the rules for that guy from the Book of Chains, and the reason why is because it makes all chems common items, so you can purchase those at all times and outfit your gang as well. You can experiment different chems such as Ghast or Frenzon or whatever the case you want to be as well. Your Scalving Explorator should also help you offset the cost because the chem dealer will make the chems more readily available, while the Scalving Explorator with its Ironhead cargo load, I believe, halves the cost of all chems, which can make it really easy for you to get. Spur is relatively inexpensive anyway, so that way you can buy multiple doses, so that way your squads are faster and they can also pass initiative tests to do boarding actions, etc. Now, as your gang develops, purchase more photo goggles as well as close combat support to dominate on the battlefield, get better close combat weapons, get power pack close combat weapons too, so you get that additional attack with those high strength attacks as well. The guns rule should be able to get you some really good power pack weapons relatively cheaply for your gang, so that's something you want to keep in mind as well. At the same time, recruit a claim jumper as soon as you can as well, because that guy will be extremely useful for building more income for your gang by stealing your enemy's territories, which will be all kinds of good as well. And don't forget to use your Iron Guild contacts to equip your gang with better weapons as well as more manpower for those long range shooting attacks. And that pretty much is my suggestion as for this gang as it develops in your campaign. So there you guys have it. These are the new updates from the supplement of Runes of Jardlan for both the Palanite Enforcers as well as the Ironhead squad Prospectors. There have been some dramatic changes with these lists because of the new updates that have been available. A lot of these lists are very different from the ones originally published on YouTube with the new information that I have. So I hope this kind of helps out balance those things out and leverage those new vehicles, vehicle crews, as well as new fighters for your gang as well. So I hope that helps out quite a bit. I did try to make these a little bit more different than what I originally had put out earlier in the year as well. And as always, as more content comes down the pipe from Games Workshop with Necromunda, I will of course make videos that reflect that in the future. So that's good for this, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blog.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this, you guys. I'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.